Everybody, welcome to the Longbangers Thursday phone-in in association with Leith Spirits. I'm Matty, and we've got, I don't know, probably quite a lot to get through tonight as we are not quite on the eve, but almost the eve of the league season kicking off on Sunday in Paisley as Hibs travel to St Mirren. I don't think we've got much other news to I don't think I've got anything on my list to moan about tonight, which I am absolutely over the moon about. Like, if I could have a week where I have no major gripes, then I'm chuffed to bits. But it's not me that sets the agenda; it's the folk that come on. So, Jeff, you are first up tonight. What have you got for us?
Well, lack of signings so far, but there's obviously things in the pipeline and things are moving. So if it goes to plan and we get Big Miko, the chap from Junior Hoylett, who also we've been linked with recently.
Somebody Bowie or Bowie.
Oh, Howie from
Sure.
Fulham, yeah.
Yeah.
Two of those three, especially Miko. I think him and Venti up front would make a little and large pairing. Well, Venti's not that small, but compared to Big Miko, I'll feel I'm not to use the current vernacular. I'm not a bedwetter. I'm more happy clapping, but I'm just starting to wish we could get one or two signings through the door so I can, put the bedwetting to one side, put it in the cupboard.
I said I've never had any moan. Junior Hoylett could also be known as Senior Hoylett, given his age. We
Yes.
exited Adam Lafondre, Paul Hanlon, Lewis Stevenson last season on the premise that we needed to bring down the age of the squad.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to bring in a 34-year-old?
Well, if that's the premise, then no, then something has gone wrong. Hoylett, I thought, did very well for Aberdeen last season, certainly towards the end of the season. And the game at Easter Road, they just pinged the balls out to him on the left. I can imagine O'Hora doing that, pinging it out. He picks it up, puts a cross in, Big Miko, boom, 1-0. But I see him more as a sort of impact substitute because if Ellie's fit or Rudy continues his good form, then it'd be good to have him coming off the bench. As a 34-year-old, I know he's getting on a bit, but he's certainly sure he can do it in this league. So he's proven. Yeah, the age thing, it kind of contradicts everything they've been saying, but there's been a lot of contradictions this last couple of weeks, which you've eloquently explained on various podcasts. We don't need to go into it here, but you read them, you think, geez, but, and I'm probably like you. I remember stuff. According to my wife, I remember everything, which is unusual for the blokes. Normally we forget. I think, hold on a second, what? Anyway, so regarding the signings, we're starting to see some positive smoke signals coming out social media. So fingers crossed. Big Miko, if he stays fit, is a fantastic player in this league. Gives you a focal point. With the amount of crosses we put in at the moment, we're not converting. I'm sure. You look at the goals he scored for us, a lot of them were from crosses, I seem to recall. Apart from the one where he bodied Gogic out the way and rammed it in the net, that was quite satisfying.
That's the one I remember the most, I think, because it was pretty unexpected, but he fairly ragdolled him, didn't it? And Gogic was, as if Gogic was a wee guy to sort of to.
That's right. Well, you got the two at Dundee United, which were crosses, one was disallowed and one was allowed. Different games. St Johnstone with a header. I can't remember his other one. Then the Gogic one. There's another one somewhere. Aberdeen. He scored from across Aberdeen that went to VAR, and we actually got a decision that night after the fuckwittery that had gone on. With Jim Goodwin suspended from the dugout, sitting in the row behind the dugout, directing.
It's peak Scottish football, that, isn't it?
I didn't think I could hate Goodwin anymore after his comments about Porto. But geez, that night I was raging at the telly, absolutely raging.
At least it worked out well for him at Aberdeen, didn't it? What are you thinking for Sunday then, Jeff?
What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just overspoke. It's a tough one because we've not played, apart from Pauk, no real quality. But the style of football looks good. Away from home, will he go back to 3-5-2 maybe if Cadden's fit? I'm thinking like you, maybe a 1-0 win. I'll settle for that. Don't get beat. I think first game of the season, don't get beat because it just sets the tone. And we've got Celtic twice, and then it just kind of puts a downer on the start of the season. So don't get beat, but a 1-0 win would be great.
Yeah, that sort of getting off to a good start is quite important, especially when, like you say, we do have Celtic in the 2 games after it.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the season ahead, Jeff?
Fence sitting. I think if we get in the top 6 with the current squad, because we will get injuries and suspensions, and there's very little depth to it. So the team that we can put on the park, I think, will finish top 6. But as soon as we lose 1 or 2, you notice that with Cad's out, if O'Hara hadn't been fit Sunday, sorry, but it's looking like he will be fit. Ellie Ewan's out. We're really thin until we get some replacements in. We get good, decent replacements. Big Miko, a left back urgently, then we'll finish top half, because that's basically the team with a better defence now that finished top half last season. But we haven't got my leader, we haven't got Marcondes, and Ellie's unfit at the moment. So that's a lot of goals out of the team, but I'm quite sure.
Yeah, it's like the same team, but without our 3 best players.
Well, 2 of them. I mean, Marcondes.
Yeah. I was being a wee bit facetious.
No, you're right. But you look at they scored goals, but look at the games that they potentially cost us, or the points they cost us.
Yeah.
Ellie at Ross County, my leader against St Johnstone, not marking his defender in the defeat at Easter Road. That's 4 points, say.
Yeah.
Which would have got us in the top 6. Yeah, they scored goals, but they cost us. Ellie at St Mirren, where he overran the ball, they went up the park and scored in the last minute. There's swings and roundabouts. Marcondes, I think, like a lot of people, he was just didn't want to get injured, but show what he could do, but without, although he did, he was brave in the challenge with the keepers. I think when he got wiped out against Johnson, he wasn't shirking, but I think if we got him back, we'd see a lot more of him this season, probably what we would expect when we got him back in January this year. But so how do we got into these? I'm confident top 6 with a few signings.
And what have you made of the game so far? Excuse me, as you answer this question, I can't get the comments on YouTube on my big screen, so I'm going to find it on my phone. So I am listening to you. Yeah, I'm not being rude and sort of texting my mates as you.
Yeah, she's watching her phone and I'm talking. Go on,
as you answer, but if you could answer the question, just let us know, like, what you've thought about the sort of League Cup group campaign so far, and what you've made of David Gray's side, from what you've seen.
Instantly, I know the first half against Elgin was stodgy, shall we say, but if you see what he's trying to do, it's completely different tempo to what we did last season, which was great to see. So I thought the campaign was good, apart from the obvious blip that everybody knows about. If we'd scored a couple of goals that day, nobody would be mentioning it and say, yeah, we've made changes, showed that the depth's a bit shallow in the squad, but we got away with it. We didn't get away with it, and it's cost us big style with the draw against Celtic as well, not being seeded. So I'm happy with the style of play. Disappointed at the Celtic game, but I like the way he's setting us up. I like what we're trying to do. It won't always come off, and some teams will pick us off, no doubt. But new boys look good, but against limited opposition. What I was impressed with against Watford, the friendly, was Rudy Molotnikov in the friendly against a big, fast, aggressive right back. He gave him a game. He's getting past him. He was, so that holds well.
The physical battle between those two was good, and I think that was what really impressed me with Rudy. Is there was a few times where they were grappling, and Rudy came away with the ball and just kind of shrugged them off. And for a young man, that's a good trait to have.
Yeah. I'm happy but unhappy. You know what I mean? Everybody's done with the Celtic result. Embarrassing. Wasn't the worst 5 results we've ever had. Certainly not in my lifetime. I've seen too many. But yeah, it was embarrassing. I think Sir David will. I'm not saying he'll learn from it, but he'll certainly learn the depth of the squad. It shows what we. Again, but nobody's really mentioned the plastic pitch and it being tight. That's got to have something to do with it as well. I hate plastic pitches with a vengeance.
I think we're all sick of the sight, and they have. I think I'm right in saying they've been outlawed now, haven't they? Like in the next couple of years, they will no longer be a feature in the top flight.
Next season, I think. So I thought Kilmarnock had dug theirs up and planted grass, but I noticed they've still got plastic. I'm sure they were going to be grass this year, but obviously it must be next year. They're going to grass
next season, aye.
Yeah, they'll probably be relegated.
We've got Ian Toghill in the comments, said hello, and David Bowie was the player. Saints are 1-0 up, by the way.
Good.
Nacho at 87 asked, are the Hibs recruitment team on strike? And Ian Toghill said again, no depth. We'll be lucky if we get top six unless we get more quality in. And it was a big, big mistake against Kelty.
Yeah.
Jack, I'll bring you in next. What did you want to talk to us about tonight, Jack? As he finds the mute button. Here we go.
Yeah,
Hello, Jack.
Sorry.
Nice one.
Hello.
No, it's all right. Fiddly, these things, aren't they?
Yeah, fiddly. Yeah.
What have you got for us tonight? What do you want to talk about?
Not much. There's just like new signings and stuff. We can see what's happening. So should have a playmaker or somebody coming in this week. I would have thought by now because it's been a long wait.
Is that what you think we're missing? Like a midfield playmaker?
Yeah, 100%. And then we need another striker before the opener at least, because that's what Gray wants. So.
And who drops out the team if you're putting a midfield playmaker? Are they going in instead of Newell or Mariah Welsh or Josh Campbell?
I'd probably say Jair.
So, I mean, Jair's a sub most of those. You're bringing a playmaker there, but replace him on the bench.
No, I wouldn't put him on the bench. No, I mean, there's a lot of players that you can replace, but
yeah. And what about the strikers we've been linked with then? So big Kukovic and Bowie and Hoylett. What do you make of them?
yeah, I'd say they're quite good signings we could possibly look at, possibly go for, bring some strength to the team.
And the three of them stick out as a preference for you, Jack?
I'd say Kukovic.
What did you think of him last time we had him?
Oh, he was great. He knows how to score goals.
Yeah. And how are you feeling for Sunday?
Not confident.
What's behind that then? So what's making you feel no confident?
When we played St Mirren at Easter Road last season and then just having them again, I just feel like it's going to either be the same situation or possibly a win, but I just don't see it.
And what about the wider season? And how are you feeling about the season coming up? So looking past Sunday.
Just take it a game at a time, see how we go.
Aye, I mean, I suppose we've not really got much choice other than to do that. But what would you be happy with? Like, what if you were setting the targets for David Gray? Where would you be looking to get Hibs to finish?
Try and finish in a place to get Europe, hopefully.
I think it's massive to get Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, try and win a trophy this season. We can't go another season with trophies.
And we've got the toughest draw possible in the League Cup, away trip to Celtic. How do you fancy our chances for that one?
If we can get Celtic on their bad day, then we should have a chance. But you know what Celtic are like. They've not really added much to their squad this summer. They've only got 2 goalkeepers, but that's about it.
So I'm not sure how suspensions work for the league games and the League Cup games, but I don't know if there's a way to manipulate it. We could just leather them in the home game at Easter Road, try to injure as many as possible ahead of the cup game.
Yeah, that's probably an idea. Yeah.
I reckon if that's particularly sporting, but it's worth a shot. Score prediction for you for Sunday, Jack? What do you reckon?
2-1 Hibs.
And your goal scorers?
Boyle and Venti.
Yeah, take that. I'll take a 2-1. 2-1 would be happy. Send the fans home happy. Are you going through?
No, I'm not going. No.
It's tough to get tickets. I was on the Hibs Observer thing earlier on, and I never got a ticket before they sold out. I didn't actually think we would sell out this time. It was just took my time, and then there's I went to go and log in and get one last Friday when all the systems were down, and then forgot to go back in until it was too late. So if anybody watching has a spare, give me a shout. I'm trying to get one. All right, Jack. Thanks, Ian. What have you got for us tonight?
I think Jack looks like Paul Hanlon. Oh,
maybe we look at the Hanlon about him.
It looks like Paul Hanlon. I think it's great that Jack is so young that Jack thinks it's ages since we've won a trophy. Right? Can I just say, Jack, that it really isn't it? It really isn't. And it's quite interesting. I did actually. I listened to you on the Observer this morning, and I think your point about us trying to bring in Senior Hoyler. I mean that I think the key point you made there was the fact that it shows us no strategy, right? And it's that lack of a strategy that worries me. The fact that, I mean, I think Owen Tudor-Jones is actually available, so why not let's go and get him, So, I mean, it's like completely, he's available. Oh, let's go and get him. I mean, it's madness. I mean, when you think it was Neil Warnock that actually recruited him to Aberdeen in the first place, it is completely daft. But the main thing is that we shouldn't be trying to just bring in players for the sake of it. And I'm not criticising Jack here, but Liam said the same thing this morning on the Observer. He said that there's no doubt we need to strengthen, but nobody says where. And you just made the point to Jack, admittedly. You challenged Jack when he was saying a playmaker, because that would probably be the last place I would be looking to get somebody in. Because certainly, we all know we need a goal scorer, because Dylan Vente is not effective. He's not effective. He might well become effective, but he's not effective. So therefore, in my view, Dylan Vente is the only weakness we have in our team at the moment. I'm very happy with our team. And the thing that worries me is where's Canaio going to go? Because Canaio, every time he's played, he's just been great. I mean, he's been terrific. He's like, Mariah Welsh. Mariah Welsh is like 100 miles an hour, and he's a fabulous player. I think he's going to be a tremendous player. And equally, I think Megwa's, I think he's great. But the trouble is, Miller's playing very well just now. And obviously, Cadden, I presume, is the number one choice there. But so I'm actually very happy with the squad that we've got. It's not. I'd much rather have the squad we've got than bring in Macondes and Melida again. I think that's pointless. Bringing in loan signings or bringing in like obvious second plasters where we've not got somebody. So I think the interesting thing was you with Liam this morning, and sorry, I just find it really funny, and I think you've probably noticed it, Matty, as Liam's interview style is he asks you a question, he then explains the question, he then answers the question, and then he goes to you and says, what do you think, Matty? I just thought it was great. I thought it was fabulous, the fact that he would speak for 2.5 minutes and give you 10 seconds to answer it. But yeah, I mean, I think my worry is that when people talk about we've got to strengthen the squad, they never talk in specifics. I think we're all agreed that that Warren Hora looks really good, and Egg I think looks terrific as well. And I agree we need a backup left back, but I don't think it's the most urgent thing in the world. I mean, Obita's probably our best player just now. And I agree with Jack that I think we'll win 2-1 on Sunday. And I think we'll have. I think it'll be Boyle and I think Josh Campbell.
I think Campbell's going to get a lot of goals this season. You make a good point about Canaio because he played at left back, but he's also played at left back for Airdrie. He predominantly on the right hand side, but he has played left back. He played left back against Kelty, and he's come on the left hand side, I think, against Queen's Park as well. If memory serves me right.
Yeah.
And you wonder if Megwa and Milotnikov have taken a little bit of pressure off the recruitment team for finding more than, because I think they definitely need a striker. I mean, I don't think we can get to the end of the transfer window without having a new striker in at least. But I think these boys have grasped their opportunity when they've been given it, and it's good to see that maybe it does take a bit of pressure off. What to ask you about the noises that come from football clubs, right? And they're just generic football manager talk, and I have no real problem with it. But let's chat about we need to get the right players in. We don't just sign for the sake of it, as you said. That there's no point there. It's get the right players in. When you hear chat about that, how does it marry up with then like the kind of the rumours coming out that it's Kukorevic who was at the club a year and a bit ago, hasn't really played since. Junior Hoylett, who was at Aberdeen, has been kicking around without a club since leaving there. Do those two things feel like they're compatible? That we're saying that we're going for the right players, and it just happens to be those players that are either readily available or that have been at the club before that are the right ones.
It's really the McPherson Malky Mackay syndrome, isn't it? You know, I mean, we've got Malky Mackay. Why? Because he's available, right? I said at the time, if you remember, that when you asked about the Malky Mackay appointment, I was very disappointed. The reason I was very disappointed, not because of Malky, but because of our lack of ambition. And now that you've made the point clear about the obvious disagreement in terms of the appointment of the director of football, whatever Malky is, and the head coach, the disagreement with the Black Knights, and that makes perfect sense. I can understand why they would be pissed off, because it just looked like Malky Mackay was available and we brought him in. And the danger of that is that we make the same daft mistakes we have in the past because people are trying to prove themselves. You know what it's like if you're new in a job and there's pressure on you to bring results quickly, you might make daft decisions. And I think if we were to bring in somebody like Senior Hoylett, I mean, it would just look. The question would be, what is the place of the young players? You know, the young players. You know, why isn't Josh Flanders getting a chance? Why isn't he on the bench? You know, he scores goals. You know, and so to me, David Gray's got it right. Okay, I was surprised when he got the role, but I'm very happy now. So I think he's got it right. As I said before, I want Malky well out of the way in terms of any decisions that resemble football, because I don't think he was a very good coach anyway. And but as far as the strategy is concerned, like as Leanne always used to say, we need a strategy in place for the young players coming through. And I think Molotov is bound to sag a little bit during the season. I don't think you can expect a full season from such a young guy. But I think Megwa's played a hard season at Airdrie. I think he can come in. I think Mariah Welsh just looks great. I'm very excited about the season ahead. I'm very pleased with the football we're playing. I think the quality of players we've got are as good as anybody except Rangers and Celtic. And when people talk about strengthening the squad, I want them to be specific.
And just need to ask you, how long have you been out in the sun today?
Funnily enough, not at all. Not at all. Because I'm still recovering from my knee surgery, which was 3 weeks ago now. So I've got to drive to the south of France tomorrow, and was I out in the sun? Yes, I was. That's when I listened to. That's when I listened to the Hibs Observer when I was walking the dog that we don't have, because we don't have a dog, but we have a dog tonight. Yeah?
Your hopes for the season, then, Ian. Where do you see us finishing?
Well, you said on the Observer 5 and a point, one place either way. I think I'll go with Jack. I think we can actually qualify for Europe. I think Shanklin will leave Hearts. Aberdeen, I think, will do well. So I think we're either going to be fourth. I think we'll be fourth. That's my hope. As Jack said, it's so long since we've won a trophy. But I don't expect us to win a trophy. But I think we can beat Celtic. And I think, as I've said before, what I want from this season is for us not to lose the games and draw the games we did last year. And we also, and it's very, very important, we at least make a good showing against Rangers and Celtic. We have to compete with them. And I think that's really important to David Gray. And I think that'll be the difference to previous years.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I like the mentality that David Gray seems to be instilling in the squad. And I think when we go to those games, I think we saw it against Pauk, that set up against a team that's technically better than us. And we managed that game really well, really limited them to a few chances. And I think that was almost like a blueprint for how we'll line up against Rangers and Celtic. And we seem to play it quite well. So I'm quite optimistic about the bigger games this season. Thanks, Ian. I'm going to bring in James next. James, what have you got for us tonight?
I was just going to go through the kind of points you put on Twitter earlier. basically what everything else has been discussing anyway. Probably put a few cats amongst the pigeons because I'm not as confident in the long term at the moment, basically looking at where we stand right now. I mean, I said earlier, going in, we look like a bottom six, probably even worse team. That's prior to the signings. I think we've got a decent manager in place now, good solid keeper, good solid centre halves, which indicates we may not lose games by the odd goal. Those games might become draws, and the games we threw away, we'll hold on to wins. So I think we are going to hover around the same as last year. The team, I feel, overall is weaker. I know Ian's wanting specifics. I'll give him that. Doige, half of last season, his goals, again, it's the partner that Venti probably needs. Then once Doige left, we brought in Melida. So those two missing from a squad, target, good players, you're going to probably lose more than you gained. Midfield needs sorting out. It's the same team as last year. It started last year. Campbell, Levitt, Newell, all in there. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and bemoan the players because I don't think any of them are bad players.
Mhm.
And we've got a manager in there which will hopefully give us. I mean, yourself and I discussed this, that taking the shackles off. I think when we're in possession, we're going to be a different side. And I'm hoping that all comes together. I mean, I know I'm putting the club down. I mean, I think I said 8th on your prediction thing. But I'm going to go into every game this year going there to win because I will be at the majority, probably 99% of the games. And I'll be going in there hoping that Hibs win. I'm not going in there going, oh, we're going to go 8th, so we're losing this one.
Yeah.
Nah. I'm going to go to individual games, take it one by one, starting with Saturday, come away with a lovely 0-0 draw.
It's a really interesting thing that you say there because this is true. Like for all like the pessimists, realists, or whatever you want to call us them. I don't know where we're following it.
These,
But this thing that you predict where we'll finish in the season. Like I'll predict a fifth and maybe sixth or maybe fourth, like maybe a place either side. But there is a very good chance that most Thursday nights when we do this, when you say give us a prediction for the weekend, it's 2-0 Hibs. Like like expect us to win every single game, yet still finish way down the league. Yeah, it is a bit of a contradiction, isn't it? It probably reflects quite well what it's like to be a football fan.
yes.
What are you expecting to see on Sunday, James?
I'm watching the St Mirren game at the moment. There looks as if they play 3 at the back. David Gray looks good in the sunshine, by the way. We've just been on the Beeb. They're playing 3 at the back. If we get bossed by Gogic again, somebody needs to get pulled over because if he's a centre half and that's what's holding their team together, I mean, we need to get at him. I mean, they've got pace up front now, but looks it, and a few big boys in midfield. So I don't think it's going to be easy. They seem to have quite a settled team. This is only their second competitive game. So I'm hoping this ends a draw and they're tired. I mean, I'll take any advantage. Like you say, the Celtic just kick them off the park. I'm hoping Valor do the second half and batter them and it goes to extra time and penalties. Any advantage for Hibs on Sunday. At the moment, I think we need some favours. I just think we don't have the team to be taking it to Premiership sides, unfortunately. We need recruitments. We just need to see where it goes. But again, I'll go in there on Sunday and hopefully we'll come away with a win. But head and heart right now, I'm thinking a draw is best.
On the basis of what you've seen from St Mirren tonight, how do you think they compare to what you've seen from us?
Very similar.
In the half an hour that you've been kind of keeping one eye on
it. Very similar to us. They've got pace up front. When we've got Boyle and hopefully out the left, Rudy and Jair. And Venti's got about a ton of pace as well. So if we can get the support to Venti, I think we can get at them. But they've got a very tall midfield. We may have to play around them a little bit. But that's why Dave's there. And he said he's going to be flexible in his lineups. I'm hoping he's going to take that into account. Look at them playing 3-5-2. Either match them or find a formation or a style that can get round them. I think it's going to be a lot. If we get the ball in the deck, keep it in the deck, we can get at them because everything there seems tall and up in the air at the moment with the pace up front.
What have you made of, I suppose the same question I was asking the other guys, what have you made of David Gray's team so far?
Organised. I love how he's getting Obita, Cadden, or Miller getting the crosses in. I mean, I know we've not had opposition, but you're still doing the basics. They're getting early crosses in. I love Obita's whipped crosses in. Cadden does the same. Miller, a bit slower, but he's getting the ball in the box. And the goals seem, he doesn't care where the goals come from. It's as long as they're getting scored, the goals are getting spread out all over the place. Yes, we'd all love Vent to be a 20 goal scoring striker this year. But if he creates 20 and 5 other players score those 20, I don't care. Yeah, but as I said, it'd be great to have a 20 goal striker. But if we're still scoring the same number of goals spread around, I mean, who'd have thought Campbell would be so many assists? And it's the style of the assists.
Mm-hmm.
And it says crosses into the box. And I'm even liking Jair off the bench. Yeah, he still does the brain's not connected to the feet and falls over now and again. But he's more direct than Rudy. Some of his crosses he's put in against Peterhead were good, got to the byline. The one he cut back and laid it back was nice. He's laid on a beat for the cross for Mariah Welsh's goal. I just feel if he can just get his shackles off him, maybe that's locked it off his back. Yeah, we all slate Jair. We've all done it. But I think, I said to you at the Celtic game, Boyle says, Rudy's going to make mistakes. I make mistakes. Wingers make mistakes. Mm-hmm. The point is, do it again. Keep going. And Rudy's doing it. Boyler's doing it. And I think Jair keeps on getting to the byline. I think people start getting off his back. Yeah, he's not going to be the top goal scorer, but if he starts creating, and if we get Big McCullough in the box for those crosses, I think it causes a lot of problems. Problem is, we go 2 up front. Where do you drop the player from? Do you drop Mariah Welsh or Campbell? I'd hate to be a manager. I'd hate to make that decision.
Who do you think this season is going to be the one to watch in the Hibs team?
Oh, I think that player's still to come in. Right now, the squad, I'll be keeping an eye on Mariah Welsh because, as I said, I just think he's got a bit of shithousery about him. I think he'll take a few midfielders with him. Be quite good, and I just love his range of passing. I just think we either get a striker. I mean, I think we're talking about Obadiah at St Johnstone as well with a bit of pace. He looks all right, but again, don't know much about him. McCullough's going to be maybe a couple of months before we see the best at him if he joins. Even today, depends what pre-season he's done at Swansea. And for that old fella you keep mentioning, no, thank you. I'm not even going to. If he's not good enough for Aberdeen, why are we even thinking about it?
Aberdeen offered him a contract and he stalled on it, and then they took it off the table. I think actually, like for all kind of joking about his age and everything, his numbers were good for Aberdeen last season. For the short time that he was there, he made a difference to them. And obviously, I mean, they ended up finishing above us, and we sort of kind of talk about the players that came in and made a difference for us. We went down the league, and Aberdeen brought in a few folk and went up the league, and Hoylett was one of them. So I don't doubt that he could do a job. It maybe just wouldn't have been my first pick. And I think it's maybe, when our expectations were set up here, when you've got Foley talking about us having a few million to spend, and Ben Kensel telling us it's a game-changing investment, and we're going to have all access to all these players at Bournemouth. And the reality is, a lone goalkeeper, a backup keeper, 2 free transfers, and then Junior Hoylett, then you can understand why folk get a wee bit sort of disengaged with it.
Isn't Hoylett helped though with the fact that he had Majowski, Duke in the middle for him, whereas at the moment our wingers have poor Venti on his own.
Maybe that's what Venti's needing. Needing a Hoylett to improve the supply.
Yeah.
You never know.
I mean, as I said, at the moment he's a 34-year-old Aberdeen reject. I don't want. So now he pulls on the Hibs jersey and he puts on foot the pitch. I am allowed to change my mind.
We welcome folk changing their mind. I think this is one of the things we've said consistently in the podcast. There were no ones for drawing a line in the sand and standing behind it. It's like as things, new information becomes available, it's absolutely right that you change your mind. On the comments, we've got Ian said, wait too long and the barrel gets emptier until you scrape the bottom. Rob Morris said, here, Ian. I don't know whether that's to Ian Talkhill or to what you were saying, Ian. Ian Talkhill again says, can't really see us competing with Celtic and Rangers, can't even see us competing with Hearts and Aberdeen. Hope I'm wrong, obviously, and we'll support regardless, just think we look weak. Tracy, I'll bring you in now on your anniversary. Happy anniversary. What have you got for us tonight?
It's really been slow, hasn't it? I was listening to Dave today. He does talk very well. Wasn't really giving anything away with regards to, who we're after. Was professional about that as well. The fact that Miko's still at Swansea. But yeah, there's not really been much happening, which kind of begs the question, where's the money as well? My concern is that, is Dave going to get made as another scapegoat for the board's failings? Because I think Dave's the right man for the job, and I just hope that us as supporters give him the time, but also the board give him the time as well. Obviously, we know we've got to get players out, but to free up space and money, because we can't have the squad that we've got. It is bloated. But again, that's been because it's been poor recruitment. We've gone for. I'm not going to say that we've not had the quality, because I think that's unfair to the lads. But we've certainly gone quantity, and we've totally bloated the squad. So you then got a lot of unhappy players not getting minutes. But yeah, I'm just wondering where this money is. We were told that the accounts for 23-24 were going to be so much better. We'd reduced the wage bill. So, okay, some of that money came in on the 23-24 accounts. So has that already been swallowed up? Is that why we had to get the extra investment through the shares? I don't know, I'm just at a loss with it all. It just feels that we're a bit of a laughing stock before the season's even started.
It's grim. I think it was you, other John, that had said last week about the rate at which we were spending money on wages, going for the last published accounts, which was about 200 grand a week, wasn't it? I think that was the figure that you quoted. So it was 10.1 million staff costs for that year, which I think is about 195-ish grand a week. So it's all right if you've got the turnover to sustain it, and I think that's probably where Hibs' issue has come, is that our turnover's fallen off a cliff. Where do you think the money's gone, Tracy? Like if you were given a guess at it, or a calculated guess even?
Well, because I remember Ben's interview with Luke Shanley, and he said that the accounts that we're going to obviously see at the next AGM, they're going to be so much better. The wage bill's been reduced, and the 6 million obviously would have been in those accounts. I don't know if the new share issue went into those accounts or if it came in, because I think our accounts end on the 30th of June. I think they're 1st of July, the 30th of June, I think.
That rings a bell.
But I can't remember where that then came in, or did we need that to make the accounts look better? I don't know. Obviously, no transfers free, no bringing in anybody, it's not free, especially, you might have accommodation that you're giving them. It depends what they've got in their contracts. So, all adds up. If you have to get visas, that's a cost as well. So there is all that. Plus then you've got your football staff costs as well, all comes into that. What's the cost of the behind the goals? Keep hearing was a fan's favourite. Yeah, it was a fan's favourite because we could get in for it for nothing. Maybe not so much a fan's favourite now. And obviously we were supposed to be getting the work done at HTC with the dome, but I don't know, we kind of got told that was things like that were going to get put on hold, and that money was going to go into the squad. So I really don't know. I'm at a loss with it.
There seem to be a lot of contradictions. I think it goes back to what Ian was talking about with strategy, and I think that's probably my observation of the club at the moment, is that we don't seem set on a strategy at all. We seem to kind of just bounce around with the wind. As soon as we face any kind of obstacle, we drop what we were doing and start something brand new until the next thing gets in our way, and then we start again with something different, and just it kind of goes all over the place. James got hand up. James, I'll bring you in quickly, and I'll come back to you, Tracy, in a second.
Yeah, it's on exactly the same point. I'm not trying to distract from it. When the HSL and all that bought more shares, their shareholding went up, I guess. Does that mean that Foley's went down or someone's went down? I mean, does
Yeah.
MD... It's a question for everybody. I don't know the answer to that. It's just because that was my understanding. HLC's, because their main gripe was their 15% went to 7%, and then once they got extra money, it went back up to 15%. So does that mean Foley's is down to 12 at the moment?
No, they didn't go back up to 15. So to HSL put in a so the majority of the 2 point whatever million that went in was put in by Biden, which is the Gordon family, and then it was HSL and Leslie Robb that made up the remainder. But I think the impact on their percentages would be pretty small, given the amount that went in. But it undoubtedly made everybody else's. It never contributed their share percentage came down. Tracy, Sunday then. So Paisley, are you heading through?
No, I didn't get a ticket. I'm not, obviously I didn't renew my season ticket, and didn't renew my Hibs First membership either. So I've missed like every deadline. So I wasn't on the here's your tickets before everybody else. And then obviously they sold out quite quickly. So no, I'm not going through.
What are your expectations for it?
I think it'll be a tough game. I'm hoping that tonight's maybe kind of tires St Mirren out a bit, because I've not watched any of it tonight, so I don't know how they're playing. But obviously being a goal up in Europe is good for them. I think Gogic is the main threat. He seems to be on fire every time we play them, and we don't ever really deal with them. So
do you think it was a mistake letting Gogic go when we did Tracy's? Could we have got more out of him?
Yeah. Anyone that wears their socks down to their ankles is worth a place. No, I love him. He's like one of these, like, looks like a complete hard man on the pitch, but is just a teddy bear. I loved Gogic, and I think we did make a mistake letting him go. But I know like there was a lot of supporters didn't really like him. Didn't think he offered as much, but as usual, we see what they do offer when they leave us.
It's a right funny one with Gogic, wasn't it? Because we had that game, the opening game of the season at Motherwell, and he played, and he had he did have a stinker that game. I think he lost his man at the back post for one of the goals, or maybe both of the goals, and he came off, and Jake Doyle-Hayes came on, and then there was this big, like the feeling was Jake Doyle-Hayes gave you what Gogic gave, but could play football as well. And then of course that was almost the last time we saw Jake Doyle-Hayes. And he was pretty much kind of earmarked as Gogic's replacement. Jack Ross let him go, and yeah. I think we potentially could have.
Did he not actually leave
longer
when after Jack had been sacked? Was it not? Did he not leave after that?
I thought Jack had stopped playing him. You could be right. My memory is no great, Tracy, so I'll defer to your better knowledge with it. But I know he'd sort of drifted out of the team by then anyway. He was down the pecking order.
I did like Jake as well. I thought Jake was good for us. He's just been really unlucky with injuries, but I've not really heard anything more about how his injuries coming along or if he's back. I'm sure I've seen him in training pictures.
He was in the training pictures today. He's always 2 weeks away, isn't he? Jake Doyle-Hayes
I would be using him, and if it's, and I don't get this. If you've got players that you're maybe wanting to move on, play them, because at the end of the day, that helps both sides.
Yeah.
And we can, if we're wanting to get at least something for them, or just even to remove them from the wage bill, why are we not playing them just to, especially the cup games probably would have been good to know that we've had the pre-season games, but there just seems to be a lot of people missing that. Maybe if you are trying to offload, then maybe that's the best way, give them minutes.
I wonder if Kelty hadn't happened, whether we might have seen a few more players that were on the periphery in the games against Peterhead.
Yeah, I think he can see he's got his kind of set 11. Based on what he's got to work with. The bench does always look a bit kind of threadbare. And we've seemed to have all these players, but yet the bench looks a bit threadbare. I'd like to see Rudy start because I don't know. I've not heard anything about Ellie coming back from anybody.
He's still unavailable, according to Dave today.
Yeah, so I would like to see Rudy. I think he's brilliant. Even when he was down at Villa, like the way he took on John McGuinness was just fantastic. He's such a great wee player, and I think he's going to be excellent for us. I think we do have to manage him with his age and everything, but I think he's going to be excellent for us.
Same here. Ian, you got your hand up. I'll bring you in quickly, and then Tracy, I'm going to press you for a score prediction and then get your season prediction as well.
It's just the thing that's been brought up all the time about David Gray made a mistake against Kelty. I mean, it's absolutely clear that the players that we had playing against Kelty should have easily been good enough to beat Kelty. So I don't think it was that stupid. And obviously, we brought the A team on, and they couldn't budge either. So to me, it was a reasonable thing to do based on our players being a lot better than them. We obviously had loads of chances. I mean, 5 really, really good chances. And so to me, although latterly it's a mistake, it was a perfectly reasonable thing to do and to expect us to win. So whilst there's always lessons learned, I still feel it was a perfectly reasonable thing to do, to play these players.
Totally agree.
Right, Tracy, Sunday then. How are we getting on Sunday? And then tell us where you think we'll finish in the league.
I'm not going to say a score because I think for Kelty I said 4-0. So see how that I had a mare that week.
What you need to do here is predict a 4-0 St Mirren win. This is like what?
No, because then what happens. I think Hibs will win it, but I'm not going to say a score. I'm just going to say Hibs will win it. I think it'll be a tough game, but I think we'll win it. I don't care how we win it. It's just great to get those 3 points on the board. Might start to everybody will feel a little bit less pressure as well, getting those 3 points, especially with Celtic. You imagine our house 2 weeks in a row with Celtic is going to be a nightmare. The abuse John is going to get is just going to be unbelievable.
My daughter's boyfriend is a Celtic fan, and he left his Celtic top in the wash one day, and so I filmed myself, put it in the machine. This is Aaron, his name. This is Aaron. I'm just washing your Celtic top here, and I put it in, and then obviously as I pulled it out, I pulled it a Hibs top. So it's all cleaned now for you, Aaron. I've fixed it.
Brilliant.
Right, where are we finishing in the league, Tracy?
I'm going to go 4th. Yeah, I think Dave's going to be good for us, but that's if Dave gets the backing that he needs.
Do you think? So Dave's probably in like the privileged position that if it does go wrong for him, the knives are going to be out for the board, aren't they? Like, I mean, I don't think there are many Hibs fans who are minded to go after David Gray if things don't work out this season. Given the inactivity of the transfer window so far, I think that the knives will be sharpened and aimed elsewhere. Yeah,
no, I think so too. And we've made good signings so far. You know, we've actually filled areas that everybody's been screaming for, and he's done it right away. So no, I mean, I agree with him. You can't just bring people in for the sake of it. But it has to be right. They have to be the right kind of character as well for the dressing room. They have to, fit into that environment, and they have to obviously they're going to have to hit the ground running now because obviously the season's starting. So
easy, yeah. I think it came out what we're waiting for when you put it like that. Thanks, Tracy. John, you're up next. What do you want to kick us off with?
I don't think we're in as bad a place as we all think. It's just that absence of any comms from the club that's just making everything feel worse. 12 o'clock, is it 11:30 on the 30th of August? I mean, so pretty much the night before we play Kilmarnock. I mean, the window closes. We know from watching so many windows recently that there's likely to be 2 or 3 will come in the final week, and that's simply because everybody is at that point trying to get the make weights off their squads. So we've got that time. What we've brought in has been good. I think injuries have probably been more unlucky than anything else. I think it's for Ellie to pick up that injury. I mean, I was kind of astounded at people criticising him for going into a tackle, because it sounds as if those were the same people that would criticise him for not going into a tackle. I mean, it's just a freak injury that's come from a collision with a keeper. I mean, it heart in the sleeve stuff early, you're quite happy with that. And again, we had the same McAdam. I mean, just pulling up. I mean, so there's been a bit of bad luck, and that's exacerbated simply because we only have that 14 to 17. You could probably argue who the 17 are. I mean, six of them being midfielders. I mean, that we've got in a squad and three of them up front. I think, unfortunately, McCurdy, I mean, health problems and suitability for the league may just come back to bite him, but I'm really sorry. If he gets his last year, his contract with us, I mean, given all the health concerns that he's got, then fair dues to him. I mean, if it doesn't work, I mean, and good luck to him going forward. Molotnikov is coming in, that's good, but we are a bit threadbare. But last year we were playing poorly and finished 3 points off St Mirren going into the split. I mean, if we get 50 odd points this season, we will be fourth or fifth. I mean, and to do that, we need to win 5 to 6 games every round of games. I mean, so I think part of what we need to do is just draw ourselves back and stop having that everything has to be perfect, get a bit more relaxed. Yeah, it's nice to have some rumours, but as I say, I think the undercurrent is really not enough from the board in terms of direction and where we're going. Too much razzle round about the stadium, so maybe it's the right thing that they've stopped it. I'd imagine that the Celtic home game, when the lower part of the famous five is open, and you're expecting that to be the first time it should be rocking. Any empty seat in there is going to be called out by the naysayers. I mean, there's so much negativity around about the club that things are going to plumb. But I think the important thing is to get through to Killie away and then have the international break. I mean, and just sit down. Hopefully, by that point, I'm looking for us to have 7 points. I mean, a
I
couple
can't
of
believe
wins
they're
and
having
maybe
an
a draw in there.
international break and the season's just getting started. This seems like a fucking right pain in the ass. I hadn't been aware of this, and I get disappointed with international breaks. I mean, we've got to find something to talk about on the podcast because there's no Hibs games, so that's a pain in the arse. But like we've just had like tons of international games. Surely we didn't need another one.
And is it no this pretend extra tournament, the Nations League or
Oh,
something?
for
So it's not
goodness
even a
sakes, I'm
proper
phoning the
international
police.
break, it's a pretend international break. So it's no, so I think that's where I am at the moment. I mean, like every Hibs fan, I would love to see some signings come in. I'd like to see Venti get that big brute of a partner that I think that he needs up the top, even if it's just for us to change how the game's going in terms of what people think. Having the little that I've seen of the St Mirren game, can we make sure we know how to mark Rooney at the back post? Given that's how they got the first goal. Corner to the back post, and Rooney ran in.
Which Rooney is it that's playing for St?
Rooney?
Is he
St
still
Johnston Rooney?
Is he still playing?
He's come back up. He's at St Mirren now.
Yeah, hell, this night's getting worse.
But so it's that whole idea where we're all sitting. But again, it was one of those where you're watching it, and it was he just strolled in at the back post and beat his own player to the ball to head it in. So, but you're expecting David Gray and from our defensive attitude, sort of egg potato. We'll love that sort of challenge. That's the difference that we've got this time. We're light up top, but we've got goals coming from everywhere on the pitch. So we go in with a bit of optimism, and as I say, season, irrespective of where we are at the end of August, season's not finished.
What have you made of the team then? So you can give us a wee bit of flavour there, but for the League Cup games that you've seen, and I don't know if it's like if it's worth just parking the Celtic game, because it was like a bit of an anomaly, that one. But you can include it if you like. It's totally up to you. But what's been your observation of the team so far?
We hold the ball at the back, but we look to get it forward much quicker. It's. I think I'm trying to think. I heard somebody, I don't know whether it was on one of the podcasts or whether it was the guys used today when you was having your chat. Hibs now chase down the ball when they lose it rather than returning to a formation to start again. That idea that Montgomery had them, and the idea that when you lose the ball, this is the position you go to, and then you reset, and then you start your press. Whereas it seems to be much more fluid. I mean, there was a point in the Peterhead game, I mean, where I think we had a beat over at right back. I don't know who was covering left back, but it'd gone absolutely random after a corner. But we had a shape. I mean, players just took the responsibility on the pitch to make it right. And once they sorted it, they got themselves back in the right positions. Whereas I think under Montgomery, looking back on it, it was maybe too rigid, where players would be leaving gaps because of the position that they had to take. So there's that side of it where I think there's a bit more fluidity and a bit more responsibility with those who've actually crossed the white line. But no, getting the ball forward. I've enjoyed Molotnikov. I thought Boyle looked a bit huffy on Saturday, but I didn't know whether that was just because Venti didn't put him in for his goal, and Boyle always looks as if he's just a wee bit huffy if other people are scoring and he isn't.
I think Boyle's been good this pre-season. I know exactly what you mean with that, because he does have a bit of that about him. But I thought I thought he had the look like he was getting back to his best, and that'll make a huge difference as well, because I think Boyle with the shackles off will be night and day to the Boyle that we saw last season.
I mean, I'm looking forward to sort of Newell stepping up this season, but I don't. Are we managing his minutes at the moment? He didn't play. He didn't touch the pitch at Kelty. He played 45 minutes against Watford, and he came off after an hour. I mean, against Peterhead. I mean, Boyle's played pretty much most of all those games. I mean, and it was just one of those where you're thinking, is he just carrying something? Because I think he helps the other players in the middle of the pitch get the ball from side to side. I mean, I thought we got stuck. I mean, standing behind the goals with Ian, I thought we got stuck with the ball too often in the middle of the pitch and didn't get our wingers in. One of the reasons being the observation afterwards about we'd taken our left side away. I mean, we looked better when we had Abita and Jair down there in the second half. So that's what I like about it. The ball's into the area. Yeah, Venti has been striking the target. A couple of shots to the left have either been scuffed or straight at the keeper. He gets a lovely touch right along the ground. I mean, in the cutback shot against Peterhead, but it just hits the goalie's foot. I mean, strikers need that bit of luck as well. It needs to find a bit that the goalie isn't at. I mean, it was a clean enough contact. So, no, I think that's where we're at. In terms of Sunday, 1-0 to the Hibees.
Okay, and for the season? Where do you think we'll go?
I'm expecting fourth. I would like to think fourth or fifth, because I want us to. We have to score more than 50 points. If I was to sit down and say, what's the challenge for the season? Get over 50 points come the end of it. And I think we'll be fighting for a European place.
Okay, doke. Kelly got knocked out, by the way. Just seen that message come through from Hib.
He dropped down to the conference.
Did he? Well, that's not bad for them then. That's kind of lucky. Right, just before we wrap up, because we're out of time, but I'm going to go around the screen. So Ian, Jack, then Jeff and Tracy, and you, John and James. Give me one sort of batshit crazy prediction for the season that you think will happen. It can involve any club, any player, anything. But what would you either like to see totally randomly happen, or what do you expect to see? Ian, you go first.
I want to see Race Rovers promoted.
Good shout. I would like that as well. Jack?
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see Race Rovers promoted as well, because they've got Hanlon and Stevenson. So, possibly, definitely happen.
Nice one. Jeff, what crazy thing would you like to see happen?
Just to unmute myself. I'd like to see Hearts relegated.
By the way, yeah, no disagreement there.
Yeah, not because we'd lose a bit in revenue for the derbies, but just for the fucking meltdown with some of my mates and family.
What word do you think they would try to come up with at this time to avoid saying they were relegated? Were they expelled, expunged, demoted?
It's controversial, some oblique or obscure SFA rule puts them down.
I think what I'm hearing for you here, Jeff, is a sort of a not so subtle plea to somebody out in China to eat a bat.
Yeah, that as well. And just very quickly, if my brother watches this, how do you like the background, you fanny?
Tracy, what about you?
I'm liking all of them so far. The Hearts. What about Rangers liquidated again?
There's loads of rumours about that now as well, but that would, aye, that would be
Yeah.
up there.
Since I live in a Rangers town.
John, can you top that?
I was going to say the big Hoos Winnie Open this season. But other than that, Dundee United win a derby against Dundee this season. They'll get beaten all 4 and they'll be bottom 6.
That'd be good. James, last word to you.
Everybody stole mine. I was going to go for Rangers going bust. I just love that.
Yeah,
The big house no opening is another
big
one.
house, aye, the big house no open. I like that.
I'll go Rangers relegated and out of business. To come back and they're not allowed back in, they've got to go to the West of Scotland Division 12 or something.
They can't even be allowed in.
Can I point out, if you follow Sam North, you know what I mean? He will quite happily tell you that it's the eighth division that you go down to in the west of Scotland, and that's where they can start.
Bless. Just a
Right, thanks very much for coming. I think everybody deserves a beer or a cider or whatever your typical choice is. A glass of rosé, Tracy, if that's what you've got, because it's
non-alcoholic.
Is it?
I've not had a drink since the 7th of October last year.
Well done.
So
I'm going
non-alcoholic.
to go and see what's in my fridge, and I think I'm going to open one because it's fucking roasting.
Can I give one more shout out?
Yeah, of course you can.
Andy Murray. Unfortunately, that's him just being knocked out of the Olympics.
Aww.
Probably one of the greatest sportsmen Scotland have ever put forward.
Yeah.
And he's a Hibee.
Aye. Well done, Andy. Obviously, a loser of the night, but we've not had that against you. Well done.
Matty, can I just say one more thing? Sorry.
Aye.
I'm running 100 miles in September for cancer research. I don't do a lot of running generally. I'm mostly on the bike, so this is quite a big thing for me. For a friend of ours died recently near the village, young girl, young family. So if any of you see my Just Giving page on Twitter or X or Facebook, then feel free to sponsor me. It doesn't start till the 1st of September, but you can always donate now. So yeah, thanks very much.
Tag us in it, Jeff, and we shall retweet it. Actually, I was meant to shout out somebody, and this is terrible because I said I would do it. There's a guy on, you'll see he's posted on Hibs Night, he's doing 150 portraits of Hibs fans and he's looking for volunteers. I think he comes to your house and takes a photo. So if that sounds like the sort of thing that would be your cup of tea, have a look on Hibs Night, or I'll share contact details on Twitter if I can find them. Right, anyway, that is us out of time. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Thanks for joining in, and we will